Good evening, good evening, good evening, people of God, saints and sinners, because they do exist. Everybody's not perfect, and no one is perfect. Um, I learned a valuable lesson today, and God knows me better than anybody ever could, even myself. And the letting go process and the codependency is so serious. It's something that we acquire that as we are growing up in trauma, and as we are even growing up around dysfunction, we develop behaviors and we develop beliefs that sometimes can hinder us so severely that our normicity is to be dysfunctional. Our normicity is to be uncomfortable. Our normicity becomes treacherous, even in its presence. We don't we can become so used to chaos and dis-ease, because it's not just about dis-ease, it's dis-ease. We can become so dis-eased and thinking that's a normalcity. It's not normal to be dis-eased. It's not normal to be attracting people that are diseased. But because of your disease, you think that you are supposed to have these kind of people around you. And when you are consistently being confronted with, I want somebody to help me, you saying to yourself, if they would just do this, if they would just do this, if they would just do this. And then you always offering help and services and always making yourself so available for others. But what about you? What about you? Our resources are not just they come to you for you to pass down. Everything is not for everybody. Everything that God has is not for everybody. And there's a saying that says, everything God has for me is for me. If God showed it to you, you need to start praying about who does God want you to share that information with, because some things can go to waste. That's called casting your pearl to the swine. Everybody does not want to be healed. Everybody does not want to be better. So if God brings something to you and you think about somebody else before ingesting it for yourself, this is how it sounds. Okay, somebody gives you information, well, this is survey going on, or it's this place you can go where they're giving this and they're giving that. And you, first thing you think about is, who can I tell that to? Oh, I know who can use this. It was for you. God sent it for you. It was not, everything is not for you to share. Every good and perfect gift is from above. But sometimes the good and perfect gift is only for you. And I know we want to help people. We want to encourage people. We want to be there for others. But what about you? It's time. It needs to be a season in your life where you are totally selfish, self-centered, and it's all about you, but in a healthy way. To the point of where you don't share everything. You don't tell everybody everything. You don't want to. You want everybody. You don't want everybody to go with you where you're going, because there's always a saying, another for that. Everybody can't go where you are going, and it's just that they're not ready mentally. They're not ready physically. They're not ready spiritually. God knows your heart, and God is showing you, this is how much I want you to advance, because God wrote your book. God wrote your story. God knows whatever and everything that's going to take to get you from A to B. So when he sends things to you to advance you, it's for you. Everybody's not ready to go where God is taking you. And because look, I've done it myself. I've gone ahead of God several times. I've done things that God didn't tell me to do. I've done things that God, without a doubt, I'm not here. God, I can hear God saying, can anybody tell me why Teresa is all the way over there? I don't remember having a conversation with her about that yet. I told her to prepare, but I didn't tell her to go. And it's those things we have to process. God is trying to grow us up by giving us screenshots and snippets of our destiny. He already knows the finished work, but it's called process. But if you're not even trying to process what God is showing you by doing the work of necessary 1, 2, 3 steps, because He's going to put before you what is that's necessary for you to do in order to get where you're going. This is a signal that you need to apply to other people when they don't show up. When you show up, that's what God got for you, because you're showing up for you. But when other people don't show up to what God also has offered them, or whether it might be by you offering it to them, just because you offered it to them does not mean it's for them. It was for you. So start looking out for yourself, because these things that the enemy can send to try to tear us down, make us think that you're not being helpful because they choose not to do what you did. You got to think about you, because what God got for you again is for you, and it must mean you're ready for that thing at that time. But everybody is not in comparison to you. Another point: stop comparing yourself. And some people see the glass half full, and some people see the glass half empty. I see the life for other people half full, because I'm an optimist. I'm very optimistic about other people's lives. But what I'm learning from today's journey is to think optimistic about my life and what God has for me, and do what God told me to do. And then hopefully I'm going to try now. Not hopefully, I'm going to try now to do what God told me to do. And maybe then they'll see what God is doing for me. They'll want to come on and get on board, because it looks wonderful in His sight and it's magnificent in my sight. So stop being so codependent to where you put other people before you. Get some balance, learn some balance. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. It means that it's not their time. Everybody's not going at the same rate. Everybody does not have to go at the same rate. Just walk your pace. Stay in your lane and do what God is telling you to do. And then maybe they'll get on board later on. Because I wish, and God also wished, that none should perish and be left behind. This is your woman of God, Teresa, with the good information. Good news for the day is it's okay to be selfish, but in a nice and a humble way. Jesus was not selfish. He was humble. He cared about everybody. So make it available, but don't make it to the point where you can't go because they're not going. That is not what we're going to do today. So move forward, continue to advance, and be what God called you to be, so that way you can really, truly have what you need to help others to advance. Woman of God, bringing it like I always do, with the love of God. Y'all have a wonderful day. Poor day. I think I did.